Hello, welcome to another edition of Left-Handed with a lot to say. I am James Lott Jr. and I am left-handed. Yes, and I'm bringing to you another edition. And I want to thank everybody out there who's been watching and listening to this show, this newer podcast that I started about a little less than a month ago. We've had such amazing guests from all over the place talking, and we continue talking about that. I'm glad the response has been overwhelmingly yes. A lot of left-handed people out there, there's lefties out there. They got another guest who I actually posted this on one of the Facebook groups. If you didn't know this already, there are several left-handed Facebook groups out there. And I'm part of many of them. And so I put out there, I have a podcast with some guests, and I've got a lot of responses. So this is one of the responses I got. And so we just found out that we come from the same, basically, neighborhood in Brooklyn, which is kind of funny. But right now you're in Hawaii, correct?
Right.
In Hawaii.
Right, Honolulu.
I'm in Los Angeles, and we're coming to you together through Zoom. Frank Assante. Hi, Frank.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah, it's just so weird that because he was a block away from my grandmother. I mean, that's like
easily, yeah.
Just like the craziest. The world actually, you probably understand this. The world's actually much smaller than we think, isn't it?
Right. Especially nowadays, it's much smaller than it used to be.
Yeah, much smaller. So we're all from the same areas, basically. We all come from those things. And he said he might be that you are distantly related to legendary actor Lott Jr, right? You guys are related.
Right. Yeah. Where his family history, which I've read about, is very similar to mine. I've never met him. I've been meaning to contact him, but I never got around to it. But I'm always surprised when people recognize the name, because he's not that big a star. I mean, he's big enough. He's been in lots of things, but he's not a household name, I've always thought. But people do recognize the name quite a bit. It's like in supermarkets or
I recognized it.
Cashiers. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I was like, first I was like, Frank Assante sounds like a name that should be something anyway. It should be.
Yeah. He looks like a lot of my relatives.
Oh, funny. And remind me what nationality that is.
Italian. Yeah, the name is derived from an Arabic name. The Arabs conquered lots of Italy in the past, and somehow the name migrated, to Italian, became Italian, and corrupted into Assante from Hassan.
Okay.
That's what I've read, on an Italian website. So.
Okay. And you have a great mustache. I love it. I'm jealous.
Thank you.
Jealous. I'm trying to grow this all in. Jealous.
It's getting too white, unfortunately. But
yes, I understand. I mean, it happens, right? It just happens. You get older. My size,
right?
My quarantine right now. I haven't had a haircut.
Yeah, I tied mine back. Mine's really down to my shoulders. So.
Wow, that's crazy. I love it. So everybody's just real talk. This is how we look these days. That's how it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How is it in Honolulu these days with the virus over there? I mean, how's it over there?
Yeah, it's been contained very well. There have been very few cases. The local government here has responded. It responded quickly and thoroughly. Anyone coming here is supposed to quarantine themselves for 2 weeks, and just a couple people have been arrested because they broke the quarantine. They went out and posted themselves on Facebook, etc., and they have a squad of people running people down like that and arresting them, and they get fined or ticketed or something.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to come to, but it's not worth risking your life to be here or to bring your disease. There's a bit of controversy about people coming here and the way the place was assimilated into U.S. society. So. It's kind of a touchy subject.
I'm sure. I love Honolulu. I've been to Honolulu. I've been to Waikiki Beach. I love Hawaii. So
Oh yeah. I've been here 45 years, so I must like it.
Must like it. You're still there. You must like it. I mean, that's
right.
Interesting. So this podcast is about left-handedness, of course, and I'm talking about all aspects of left-handedness. So I want to ask you, because if you're like me, a little older, when I was a kid, they tried to make me right-handed. But I fought against it, and now they left me alone. I would be left-handed. So I just want to know for you, the first question I always ask everybody on the show is, did you know you were different? And if so, when did you realize that?
Yeah, I knew I was different when I went to school. When I first went to kindergarten, I went to a private Catholic school I grew up in Washington, D.C., actually, that area. Yeah. And just from writing, we had to use fountain pens when I learned how to write. So that was an indication that something was different. They at that time, the school wasn't trying to convert lefties to righties. They stopped doing that in the mid '50s, I understand, and I was there in the early '60s.
Okay.
So I didn't get that from anyone, which is a good thing. And so I guess I was probably in first grade, so 7 years old, when I realized, wow, why is everybody so weird? And I never, I never noticed, like, around my parents, they didn't make a big thing about it. So it just sort of happened.
Is there anybody else in your immediate family left-handed, or just you?
No, none of my wife, daughter, none of my relatives that I know of. But I might have some cousins, but I don't know for sure.
Right.
But in general, I'm pretty much the only lefty I know in the family.
So, like you say, so you came at a time when they stopped trying to make people right-handed.
Right.
Like that. So.
Yeah. I can't imagine what it'd be like to have someone force you to do that, to write, to change the way that feels natural. It's a strange belief system about left-handers and all of that.
Weird.
That we were supposed to be evil, or the devil makes us left-handed, and all that nonsense. There's a lot of other nonsense believed as well, but this one, it affects a person directly right where they live, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, the whole sinister thing and lefty sinestra and all these words. I'm like, I heard all that.
Right. Oh yeah. A lot of lefties, I think, have heard all of that. The like, from reading the Facebook posts and all of that, it's still going on.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yeah, but not as badly as it was way back in the day.
Thank God, right?
So,
Thank
yeah,
God.
really.
So I mean, okay. So for you, when you play sports growing up?
Yeah, not in any real way, but I played baseball, little league baseball, and I could switch hit pretty well. That's baseball is one of the several sports where it's an advantage to be left-handed, and it's not considered a hindrance.
I played baseball too.
So, yeah, okay, and so it's really an advantage being a left-hander. In baseball, what else? Even football, fencing I understand is advantage for a left-hander, because the right-handed opponent isn't used to dealing with lefties. So there's several sports where we have an advantage.
I never thought of it before. Yeah, I guess so. Right, I never thought it's an advantage.
Yeah. Boxing, it's an advantage. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm doing something new like this episode too. I'm like, I never thought of it before.
Right.
I've never been boxing. I've never been fencing, but I've seen.
Neither have I.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Either. That's very interesting. What do you do for a living? What did you do for a living?
Well, I was a disc jockey for years on radio and in clubs. Yeah, and radio and clubs, and then I worked in call centers for the last 10 years, and I've retired. I retired a few years ago. So right now I'm just.
And all those things you do you lead with your left hand? Like, do naturally everything leads with left, or do you do some things lead with the right? Like when you're disc jockeying, obviously you're changing records. It doesn't really matter what hand, but I guess it's like.
Right. Yeah, that didn't seem to make a difference.
Yeah.
The controls were kind of set up neutrally. And when I worked in clubs, it didn't seem to make a difference. So, as far as that goes,
so the controls are set up that it doesn't matter.
Not that I remember. Yeah, I don't remember it being a problem. Because I mean, all the typical stuff like using scissors and whatnot, that I remember. Yeah. I didn't even try to do it left-handed. I use scissors with my right hand. I can't use left-handed scissors anymore. I've tried to, and I'm so used to doing it right-handed. I just gave up even trying left-handed.
Oh, interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't. I realize that. So you cut with your
What?
right hand then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Other things that, but some things, for example, using a computer mouse,
yes.
it's naturally right-handed for me. It feels weird doing it left-handed.
Okay.
And I carry a pocket knife, and I keep it in my right hand pocket and take it out with my right and put it in my left. I don't know why. It just feels odd. If I put anything in my pockets, it's always into my right pocket. Then I switch it over to my left.
Your
It's just
wallet.
a net.
Your wallet.
Yeah, wallet I keep in the back pocket or the right pocket, and the right back pocket. So go figure, right? There's that whole. I'm sure there's studies, dozens of studies about handedness, and who does what with what hand. It's a really interesting subject. Always been interested in reading about it.
Yeah.
So
For me, I know on one of the other shows I did, I brought up the whole thing that when I play soccer or when I skate, I lead with my left foot. So it went to this whole thing
oh
about
yeah,
footedness. Like we always talk about left and right handedness, but is there
right.
is there left and right footedness? Does it matter?
Yeah, I used to play soccer in school and
Yeah.
stuff, and I was always kicking left-handed. I've tried surfing a long time ago. I've taken a few lessons, and I lead with my right foot, which is more common. There's a thing called goofy foot. You're in California, you know what goofy foot is? If you're would lead with my right for almost everything. Yeah.
Explain goofy foot again. One time you blinked out for a second. So explain goofy foot.
Yeah, I had an incoming call, darn it. So
That's right.
I'm using my phone. Yeah. Well, goofy foot is when you're on a surfboard and your lead foot is your left foot. It's very unusual. Apparently, there's a line of clothing and surf stuff called goofy foot, but I used to lead with my right like everyone else. So I'm assuming it's a random thing. Which hand you use for what. Some people are exclusively left-handed. I'm like I'd say 90% left-handed, and for other things I'm naturally right-handed, and other things I've had to learn to use the right hand because I just couldn't do it. Like can openers, I
Makes
hate
me
can
laugh.
openers. Yeah, I bought an electric one for the first time in my life last year, and it's like a revelation to me. I don't have to sprain my hand to
Right.
open a can of
Right.
peaches or something, right?
That is so funny. Um, I'm mostly left-handed. I'm like 98% left-handed, except when I bowl.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. I used to bowl left-handed. Yeah, shoot. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
It's really weird. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
bowl right-handed, and I'm
yeah.
better at it. I've done left, not as good. Right-handed, I'm way better. Way better.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Yeah, there's just so many areas to explore, to look into with how people's brains are used, and what they do and why they do it. I've read some of the literature, but not enough. I've been meaning to do a deeper study into handedness. So
But do you believe? I'm asking everybody this. Do you believe that the whole right brain is more creative? Left-handed people are more creative, or no?
uh, no, I don't believe it. I'm not. Um, from what I've read about the latest studies, is that whole left brain, right brain thing is kind of overworked. Yeah, the brain's more. What you do with your brain is holographic. It's like it's integrated throughout the brain. It's not just concentrated on one side or the other.
No.
I am creative vocally, like I was a disc jockey, and
Great voice, sir.
ne-
Great voice.
thank you. I never had to read a script or I would outline my shows, but I just kind of winged it. I've always been good at doing that. Whereas like drawing, and so I can't draw to save my life.
Same here.
And musically, I'm not musical. I enjoy music a lot, but I can't sing. I have a nice voice, but I sing like a dying walrus. So,
I love it. Oh, not
yeah.
dying walrus. Dang, it's dying.
Right.
That's so funny. Um, Because because that's the thing. I've been asking people about that, going, well, you know, I think people are just creative. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. You
Yeah,
access
yeah,
parts of your brain. You just access parts of your brain. I think it's what
right.
it is. Where other people are very analytical and very methodical. And there's things that
Yeah,
you. I don't know if
yeah,
the left. I mean, I like the jokes, of course. You know, we're in our right minds, and all. I like the
yeah.
jokes. But I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know if I believe it's true either.
Well, I've also read that uh, left-handers are more, in general, supposed to be more intuitive than right-handers. When I went to college, I took a bunch of tests just to see, like the school had, this is the University of Hawaii, and the school uh, had a program where you could test yourself to see what's going on with you, right? So there's one test that tests uh, analytical versus intuitive reasoning, and I was off the scale for intuitive
Ah.
thought processes. Yeah, and the guy tested me, said it may be because you're left-handed. A lot of lefties he tested tended to be really high on intuitive thought, reasoning process. So I don't know if that's official, but that was his experience. So,
I mean, I feel I'm intuitive in many ways. I feel like I catch on to things. I read. But I don't know if
yeah,
that could be just that I'm present in every situation. I read the room well. I mean, I don't know if that's either. But
right, right.
I am intuitive. I mean, I don't know. I think.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if I mean, there's a lot of speculation about this when I read those posts on Facebook, but I don't see much science being posted. And I've always been meaning to, I think I'll do that. I'll look into the research, because I do get a little thrill because I'm left-handed. I don't think I'm superior or anything like that, but I just get a thrill out of being left-handed in a right-handed world.
You know, same here. And that's the thing too. I keep saying in some of these groups, I try to post things that are, you know, that are a little more than just like, you know, like I'm left-handed. What do I do? Like that. I mean, there's so many posts you see on there, like, oh, okay. I
Yeah,
try to post
yeah,
something that's a little more like, here's some facts. Here's some things that they're looking at. Here's some things they're doing. I
right,
mean, do the
right,
same thing. And then this podcast is
yeah,
my first foray into like posting something a little more than just the leaves left-handed scissors. You know, I'll try to do a little more than that. So I mean, those posts are all cute and everything. They're cute.
right,
I
right,
like them, and I'm part of the
right,
group. I like them. And thanks for letting me
yeah.
post on your pages. Um, but I'm trying to add a little more so we can, you know, and these conversations have been just so great because I'm learning what people are really thinking about their left-handedness.
Right, right. Yeah. No, it's a good thing you're doing. I mean, and I'm like you said, you're getting a lot of responses, and I think left-handers like to talk about it, being left-handed, but not sound like a bore, like
Right.
to trying to lecture people about it. It's like I've never felt the need to complain about it to anyone, and no one's ever. I see a lot of observations on the posts on Facebook where people will come up to a left-hander and go, "Oh, you're left-handed! Wow!" And I've never got that.
You never got that? Oh, okay. You never got that.
Never got it. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me or what, but no one's ever noticed, or if they did, they didn't care to mention it. So I think we grew up in a world that was become way more accepting of left-handers than before, than in the past. So I think it's not as rare anymore. People just don't, in my experience, people don't even notice, or if they do, they don't care to comment.
Do you
So
notice what's the most is left hand? Do you notice it?
I do, not in person, but mostly in film. Like I always get a little thrill when I see some left-handed actor. I don't know why. It's like if I see
Don't
an
do it.
Italian, yeah, it's cool. If I see an Italian American actor, I get a little bump, a little buzz from that. Just because,
Yeah.
uh, like Bruce Willis. Like I can't name any except Bruce
Oh, I
Willis
know
right
that
now. He's
Goldberg
lefty.
is left-handed. I think Oprah Winfrey is left-handed.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they're left-handed. I've noticed them, and I met with Goldberg before, so I thought she was lefty-handed.
Oh, cool. Wow. Yeah.
And there's a few other, I'm blanking out right now. There's a few others that they write a certain way. I want to say either Jennifer Aniston or somebody. One of them, I think one of them is left-handed. They write. You see how they write. Like, oh, they do the writing like this. You go, oh,
Yeah, I do that. I do that. Yeah.
I write like I
Yeah.
write like this, so I don't write.
Yeah. Oh wow, good for you.
I don't know. I mean, it was no. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think because they tried to make me right-handed at some point a little bit. I
Yeah.
just kind of like I took on the persona of right-handed wrote.
Yeah.
Let's look at
Well, when I was learning to write, I think we started with pencil, but eventually we used fountain pens for some reason, and I always rolled up my sleeve. Because otherwise I'd ruin, you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, it would get ruined, and my thumb, my palm would get blue ink all over it all the time. So
it is like this weird. It is weird club we're in. We're in a club, so to speak.
that's a good observation. Yeah, it's just kind of a club, and I think we all kind of noticed that, and I feel said I've always felt a little different and maybe a little special, just because it is a club. It's like belonging to any kind of club. You feel a little.
It is. It's very strange.
Little,
it's just strange. It's like
a sense of brotherhood or sisterhood.
Exactly. Like, okay, you get that little nod or something like I know what's going on. Or like I go to dinner parties and me and the other left-handed person are trying to sit at the end of the table. I go, oh, you too. You're left-handed. Okay.
Yeah.
Our elbows
Right. Yeah. I've had the elbow problem my whole life. Yeah. I have to. Yeah, my relatives knew to sit me on the left edge of whatever table I was sitting on. Right. And so Frankie, you go over to the left side there. So
exactly, over there. I go, okay, thank you. And I sit next to another left-handed person. It's like kind of fun. Like we're both left-handed together, and it's kind of
yeah.
Thing. I love that. Yeah, it's like I said, it's just an interesting club, and that's why I started this podcast. And I want to thank you for coming on and sharing. So actually,
you're welcome.
Stuff from you. I learned some more stuff on here that I took notes. I take notes on every show. I took notes.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right.
I really am going to try to, at the end of this, I mean, I don't know if I was to the end of it, but later on down the line, we'll look at all these episodes and see if there's any commonalities or major differences. And I'm going to do an episode on that possibly. So I may come back on. So I'm kind of
Yeah, keep me posted. Definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being on again. I like hearing myself talk. You may have noticed that. So.
You're a disc jockey. Hello.
Yeah, right. You get paid to just talk. That's what better job can you have, really?
For us,
to do what you like to do and get paid for it it isn't work.
That's what I'm doing right now. I talk for a living, so I do.
Right.
Well, thank you, Frank Assante, for being on the show.
You're welcome. Very welcome.
Thank you. And I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. This podcast is on YouTube at JLJ Media. So I think below this thing is a subscribe button or something. Hit that. And you can watch some of the other episodes of this show. I've talked to all kinds of people, and I'm talking to all kinds of people. So different walks of life. So some of them are celebrities, some of them not. You want to listen to see what they have to say. And if you're a left-handed person, maybe you can relate. If you're a right-handed person, give you a little insight to us left-handed people. I think everybody should listen to this podcast because I think it's interesting to me. And of course, you can follow us on all the streaming services under Left-Handed with a Lot to Say, and Lot is 2 T's, not one. Everyone, please stay safe and sane. I'll talk to you next time.